We're joined now by Senator Rick Scott of Florida. We'll get into a bunch of different stories from him. But Vice President J.D. Vance just spoke about the shooting that occurred earlier today at the Dallas ICE facility. And this is what he said. And then we will bring in Senator Scott because I'm curious how he would respond to this. Here is J.D. Vance.
When you go around and lie about our law enforcement and you tell them that they're mistreating 5-year-old girls, what do you think is going to happen? When Democratic politicians incur doxing, when they encourage us to unmask ICE enforcement officers, what do you think is going to happen? When the mayor of Los Angeles encourages violent protesters to get in the face of our law enforcement, what do you think is going to happen? What's going to happen is political violence, and political violence has gotten out of control in this country. We got to stop it. We got to condemn it. And that starts, unfortunately, at the very top of the Democratic Party. If you want to stop political violence, stop attacking our law enforcement as the Gestapo. If you want to stop political violence, stop telling your supporters that everybody who disagrees with you is a Nazi. If you want to stop political violence, look in the mirror. That's the way that we stop political violence in this country.
I agree with everything J.D. Vance, Vice President of the United States, said there. I suspect that you do as well, Senator Rick Scott. Your reaction to that here as we start the interview with you.
Absolutely. You know, it makes you mad. When I was governor, we lost 51 members of law enforcement. You go to their funerals. This is a family. Once their own personal family, then law enforcement is a family, and they unfortunately. Under Democrat rule, under Democrat rhetoric, they attack our law enforcement. What do you want in your house? You want, if somebody breaks in, you want somebody to show up. Who shows up? Whether they know you or not, it's law enforcement. You want to make sure your school is safe for your kid. You want to make sure your business is safe so you can go get a job. You want to make sure the restaurant's safe. Who does it for you? Law enforcement. You might never know. So the Democrats have got to stop this attack on law enforcement. When I grew up in a country where if my mom thought I would ever talk back to a law enforcement or say something bad about them, I got the biggest whipping in the world. I would never have done that. I bring my grandkids, when they see law enforcement, they thank them. That's what everybody in this country ought to be doing. Say, thank God somebody's willing to put on the uniform and defend our freedoms and defend our safety. So these Democrats have got to stop this rhetoric. And my good friend Charlie Kirk is dead because of rhetoric.
Okay, Senator Scott, we're going to have you call back in because Clay, I don't know if you could hear. I cannot hear what he's saying on the line right now.
This is one of those things where I look around and I'm like, cell phones are never just going to work perfectly, are they?
No, I guess not. I don't know what's going on.
I will 20 years ago, we would have thought, hey, the signals will eventually be flawless. But it's amazing how often you can't have a normal conversation on a cell phone now.
Maybe Elon will fix that. Maybe Elon will all have sat phones, essentially. I remember that was such a thing when I was overseas 20 years ago with the agency to have a satellite phone. I was like, ooh, and it was, $16 a minute or something to actually talk to anybody on it. You would think that we would get to a place where this stuff would all work much more. We got him back? We can hear him now?
Yep.
I want to hear what the good senator has to say.
Yeah. So we have got to stand up for our law enforcement, and the Democrats have got to stop this rhetoric. Don't their families want to be safe? Don't their voters want to be safe? Don't their children want to be
Senator,
safe?
let me ask you this. Hold on a second, because Gavin Newsom in California, I know that the law doesn't go into effect until January, and I assume that they're smart enough to know that they can't tell federal law enforcement how they can tactically do their jobs, the state of California. But what message could be more clear than what he's saying, which is the governor of America's largest state, Gavin Newsom, is telling everybody that these are basically fascist stormtroopers and they're hiding their identities because there's something immoral about enforcing immigration law.
Look, they might have a mask because they're scared to death of people like Gavin Newsom that's telling people, right, to attack law enforcement. Don't cooperate with them. Get in their face. Doesn't Gavin Newsom care about the citizens of his state? I was governor of Florida. You know what I wanted? I wanted every family to be safe. I wanted every business to be safe. I wanted every restaurant, every school to be safe. So why doesn't Gavin Newsom care about the people in his state, about their safety? That's what I don't get. You don't build a business. You don't want your kids to go to school. You don't want to live in a community that is unsafe. Support law enforcement. It's real simple. They will defend your freedom and your safety.
We're talking to Senator Rick Scott of Florida. A lot of discussion. I was texting with Senator Ron Johnson a little bit earlier about the potential for a shutdown. He's got a piece up in the Wall Street Journal about ways to end this conflict once and for all. What should our listeners know about the latest battle over funding the government?
Well, here's the way it works. We only need a majority in the House, but we have to have 60 votes in the Senate. Chuck Schumer, for whatever godforsaken reason, wants to shut down government. So some services will be stopped beginning at midnight, September 30th. That's what he wants. That's what he wants. He doesn't care. He wants to shut down government. Well, Ron Johnson's proposing, which is really smart, let's just make sure that we just keep funding government. We should have done our budget bills, which we haven't done again this year, which we should have done. But if we don't, then we'll just continue to keep government open at last year's funding, which is too high. I want a balanced budget, but it's better than shutting down government and shutting down services. And by the way, federal workers, when they don't come to work, they still get paid. How crazy is that? When you don't go to work, you don't get paid. But federal workers, which I love them, right? We have a shutdown, they get paid. That doesn't make any sense. They don't get paid until we go back to work, but they don't come to work and they get paid. This makes no sense. That's why Ron Johnson's proposal is very smart. Then we'll never have the Chuck Schumer shutdowns.
Senator Scott, how is the confirmation process going in the Senate for Trump nominees? We had, I think, talked to you about this a few months ago. There have been a lot of concerns raised for those who are paying attention that Democrats are doing everything except pull the fire alarm, so to speak, to try to prevent nominees from getting through. Has that process started to work a little bit more efficiently? Are you getting Trump's picks in place? How's that been going in the Senate side?
It's like they don't think that Trump should have anybody work with him. So he needs to put together a team. That's what presidents do, right? This is the first time in the history of the country that the opposing party of the president will do everything they can to block all nominees. I don't care who the nominee is. And so what we've had to do in the Senate is we had to change the rules because the Democrats are blocking every nominee, even nominees that they will vote for. They've been blocking. They don't want office. So we've changed the rules. We got quite a few of our nominees approved last week. We will be back next week, and we'll get my goal. I think the goal is we're going to have over 100 nominees done in the next 10 days. So we've got to get Trump's nominees done, and unfortunately, what Chuck Schumer's doing with all these antics is he's saying the Senate was set up to force us to work together. He's just saying, no way. We don't ever have to work together anymore because Chuck Schumer is going to fight everything, and so we have to change the rules to get anything done. Schumer needs to go.
What do you think about the Trump library on a positive side here? I mentioned this to Buck. He lives in Miami. He's one of your constituents now, Senator. I spend a lot of time in Florida as well. What does it say about the state of Florida, the trajectory of the country overall, that a big city like Miami, I think a lot of people listening to us right now in Miami are saying, this is great. We're going to have the Trump presidential library here. What does it say about Miami? What does it say about Florida?
Well, Florida's become the center of the Republican Party. You look at his whole team, so many of them, Pam Bondi, Susie Wiles, so many of them come out of Florida. As you know, the president moved out of New York and moved down to Florida. So I hope, whether it's in Palm Beach, whether it's in Miami, it's going to be in, I can't imagine it's not going to be in Florida. I know the piece of property they're talking about in Miami, I was just down at the Freedom Tower just the other day, that they've completely recently redone. That's where all the Cuban refugees were processed when they were coming in the 60s and 70s. So look, wherever it is, I look forward to bringing my grandkids there to see it.
One last question for you. Jimmy Kimmel, the story surrounding that. As we're talking to you, Nexstar and Sinclair, local affiliates, are not carrying the show. And they just said, you come out of the business world. Nexstar is continuing to evaluate, and we're engaged in discussions. We want diverse interests of the communities we serve to be reflected and respected. What should happen here in your mind? What's the right solution?
Well, they don't make a business decision. Jimmy Kimmel has become just toxic. His audience has gone down. People are saying they don't want to see it. Like, I remember when Johnny Carson had a show, and Jay Leno. They were funny, right? This is just toxic, what guys like Jimmy Kimmel do. So, I've never seen a show. I don't plan on watching a show. I assume that they're making a decision. Is this good for our audience? And is it fiscally? Is it financially beneficial? And think about it. If it's not, you think, why would they keep him on the air? So I heard his audience, his viewership has gone way down. So I don't know why. I'm not going to watch it. I don't know why Republicans would ever watch the guy. He doesn't. I mean, what he said about Charlie Kirk was. It was just completely inappropriate. It was. I mean, Charlie was a friend of mine. I did a show most Mondays, and for anybody to say that what they said so is just toxic.
Senator Scott,
Senator, we
appreciate
appreciate you.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's going to get better. So I'm very optimistic. We're going to make it better.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
All the work that he is doing, positive there. Senator Rick Scott with us. We'll come back. We'll close up shop, have a little bit of fun with you. Buck, I still do think it's very funny that Buck got Kamala Harris's book at 12:01 the minute that it came out. We'll have some fun with that. But in the meantime, we also want you to have fun with Prize Picks. I just mentioned it's a company founded by a University of Georgia grad, my buddy Adam, in the Atlanta area. Prize Picks just sold for over $4 billion. That news in the Wall Street Journal, because all they're trying to do is make sports a little bit more fun than they already are. And Adam pained me to see his Georgia Bulldogs beat my University of Tennessee Volunteers. But he's built a great company, a lot of fantastic people working there, and he's doing it by just making sports a little bit more fun than they otherwise would be. Prize Picks available in 40-plus states, California, Texas, Florida, Georgia among them, my home state of Tennessee. When you download the Prize Picks app, use my name, Clay, and you get $50 instantly in lineups when you play $5. We're going to give you a pick tomorrow. 2 of our first 3 picks in the NFL have won. Maybe you're not a football guy. Do you love Major League Baseball? Are you excited about the Ryder Cup? Whatever you are into, NFL, college football, it's all out there available for you on Prize Picks. It's good to be right, must be present in certain states. But again, when you play $5, you get $50 deposited instantly in your account. Go to prizepicks.com, use my name, Clay. You can also go to the Prize Picks app and activate your account there. Download, use my name, Clay. You get $50 when you play $5. That's Prize Picks, code Clay.
Hey, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
And be sure to hit that like button.